Hello, Julian here. I'm going to be doing the second half of this SAT Practice 1 test. This is section 4, the calculator section. And let's get started. Number 1, we have John runs at different speeds as part of his training program. The graph shows his target heart rate at different times during his workout. On which interval is the target heart rate strictly increasing, then strictly decreasing? So strictly increasing means it has to just go up and then go straight down. So like you have these segments where it's constant, we don't want that, just up and down. And there's again a constant, so this would be the only section between 40 and 60 minutes. So that would be our answer, would be 40 to 60 minutes. Number 2, if y equals kx and k is a constant, and y is 24 when x equals 6, so we can solve for k that way. 24 equals k times 6, divide by 6, you have k equals 4. What is the value of y when x equals 5? So we'll plug back in k into this original equation. When x equals 5, this will be 4 times 5 equals 20. Let's go back up to number 3. The figure above, lines L and M are parallel, and S and T are parallel. The measure of angle 1 is 35. What is the measure of angle 2? So essentially because both lines are parallel, we have all our little angles are equal. This one's also 35, this is 35. And all our big angles will be equal. Our big angle we're going to do by solving, this is a straight line, so that's 180 minus 35 will be 145. Number 4, if 16 plus 4x, 16 plus 4x is equals 10 more than 14. 10 more than 14 is 24. 16 plus 4x, so 4x equals 8. X equals 2, but we don't need that. We could just go straight to 8x equals 16. If you solved x equals 2, then 2 times 8 is 16 also. Number 5, which of the following graphs best represents a strong negative correlation? So strong negative means as y goes up, x goes down, so this will be negative. And strong negative means that all the dots are closely related, means there's a strong correlation. This is considered a weak correlation. They're all kind of scattered around. This is a weak negative correlation. This would kind of be like no correlation. This would be strong positive. So yeah, this is weak negative, nothing, strong positive, strong negative. This will be your answer. We have number 6. Hospital stores 1 type of medicine in a 2 decagram container. We have 1 decagram is 10 grams. Based on information given above, how many 1 milligram doses are there in 2 decagram containers? This will be a conversion. We have 2 decagram. Our 1 decagram is 10 grams. And then we have 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. So we have 2 times 10 times 1,000. We have 4 zeros. Add our 4 zeros. Put a comma. And we have our answer. Number 7. Rooftop solar panel installations in 5 cities. The number of rooftops with solar panel installations in 5 cities is shown in the graph above. If the total number of installations is 27,500, what is an appropriate label for the vertical axis of the graph? Will be number of installations. If we add these together, it looks like 9, 5 is 14, plus 6 is 20, 24, 27.5. So these will be 27,500 installations. So the graph will be in thousands. Number 8. For what value of n is n minus 1 absolute value plus 1 equal to 0? Well, this has to be greater than or equal to 0. And then we add 1 to it. And when is that equal to 0? Well, that will be never. So that will be our option D. Number 9. 9 and 10 refer to the equation below. A is 1052 plus 1.08 t. The speed of sound wave in air depends on the air temperature. The formula above shows the relationship between A, the speed of sound of a sound wave, in feet per second, and T, the air temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. Which of the following expresses the air temperature in terms of the sound? So we're solving for T. So to solve for T, let's go back to our original equation. A is 1052 plus 1.08 T. Subtract 1052. You have A minus 1052 equals 1.08 T. Divide by 1.08. And A minus 1052 over 1.08 will be our answer. And then I don't know if I want to clear that. We might use that equation below. Let's find out. I'll just get rid of this circle. And let's go see. At which of the following air temperatures will the speed of sound be closest to 1,000? So that will be 1,000 is our airspeed minus 1052 divided by 1.08. So this will be negative 52 over 1.08. And I'll just pull up a calculator on my computer. Let's do negative. Do they have a negative button? I'll just do 52 divided by 1.08, and you'll know it's negative. Negative 48 degrees will be our answer. So we can circle that answer. Let's go back up. Number 11. Which of the following numbers is not a solution of the inequality. So it's not a solution. So we have subtract 3x, x minus 3 is less than or equal to -5. Add 3, -2 is greater than or equal to x, or you could say x is less than or equal to -2. So less, did I do that right? So, wait. Subtract 3x, x is less than or equal to -2. Yeah, all these will be less than or equal to -2. This one will be greater than -2, so that's our wrong answer. Yeah. Number 12, number of seeds in each of 12 apples. Based on the histogram above, which of the following is the closest to the arithmetic mean of the number of seeds per apple? Kind of just eyeballing it. It kind of looks like 6 is our answer, but it could be 5. Well, you have 9 is kind of like high up, so it's probably 6, but we can work through it. 3 times 2, this will be a weighted average, plus 5 times 4, plus 6 times 1, plus 7 times 2, plus 9 times 3, and that will be all over 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 1 is 7, plus 2 is 9, plus 3 is 12. So that'll be all over 12. We have 12 total apples. So we have 6 plus 20 will be 26, plus another 6 will be 32, plus 14. 32 plus 14 is 46. And then we have 46 plus 27, 73. If I did that right, 73 divided by 12 is approximately 6. And let's clear that out. Go to our next problem. Number 13. A group of 10th grade students responded to a survey that asked which math class they were currently enrolled in. The survey data were broken down as shown in the table above. Which of the following categories accounts for approximately 19% of all survey respondents? So we have a total of 310 survey respondents. That's the total, all survey respondents. If we're looking for what number that should be, 310 times 0.19, 19 as a percent, you divide by 100. 0.19, pull back up my calculator that I don't use very often. 58, 59. So we have this number is about 59. Looking for 59 should be males taking geometry. You could also divide each one and see which gives you 19%. This way is a little faster. And let's go to our next problem. Number 14. Fish, the length of fish in inches. Table above lists the lengths to the nearest inch of a random sample of 21 brown bullhead fish. The outlier measurement of 24 inches is an error of mean, median, and range listed, which will change the most if the 24-inch measurement is removed from the data. So mean you'll be dividing all that by like 21 samples, they said. So the mean won't change a whole lot. The median should like probably not change at all. You have a bunch of these 12s in the middle, so at most it could just change by like 1 or so. Range will be our high minus our low, 24 minus 8. So currently the range is 16. If we do 16 minus 8, that will bring it all the way down to 8. Our range will change the most. It will go down by 8. The mean will probably only go down by like 1 or so because, you know, it's weighted to the other simples. And let's go to the next problem. Yeah, if we took out that one sample, like whatever total we had minus 24 divided by 20, so it looks like it would only go down by about like 1 or so, you know, you can see right here. Because this will probably be about the same, the total. And let's get rid of that. Number 15. The questions 15 and 16 refer to the following information. Graph above displays the total cost C in dollars of renting a boat for H hours. What does the C-intercept represent in the graph? So we'll have a fixed cost of $5, and then the price per hour, 5 to 8 will be 3. So $5 like just cost for renting the boat and $3 per hour will be the initial cost of renting the boat. That will be our answer. And do we have another question to go with this? Yes, we do. Which of the following represents the relationship between H and C? Let's get our pen back up. So I already said this was 5. So that will be our y-intercept. And then our rate from 3 to 8, or from 5 to 8 was 3. Up 3, and this is actually only over 1 because if you look at the graph, you got 4 spaces to the 1. So our slope will be 3 over 1. 3 over 1. And this will be our equation. Let's clear that out. Okay, we got that pretty graph right here going. Let's get this complete graph of the function f is shown in the xy plane above. For what value of x is the value of f of x or y at its minimum? So the value of y at its minimum is right here. The y value is -2, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the x value. Our x value will be -3, 1, 2, -3. Let's go clear that out. Go to number 18. XY plane, if 0, 0 is a solution. 0, 0 is a solution if we just start plugging in zeros. You have a is greater than 0. Plug in 0 for the other one. You have b is less than 0. A is greater than 0, b is less than 0. Well, if we combine the two, if a is greater than 0, b is less than 0, that means a has to be greater than b. And yeah, the other ones are not correct. Food truck sells salads for $6.50 each and drinks for $2 each. So salad is the cost of the salad is $6.50 each. And the drinks are $2 each. The food truck's revenue from selling a total of 209 salads and drinks. So if S is our number of salads, D is our number of drinks. Total of 209 salads and drinks, S plus D equals 209. And the total cost was $836.50. That was or actually how much money they brought in. Salads are $6.50 each, so 6.5 S plus $2 a drink, 2D is that much. I can use S equals 209 minus D. If we use substitution, the first equation, so solve for S. So we have 6.5, 209 minus D plus 2D equals 836.550. I'm going to bring back up my calculator. Let's bring it over here. 6.5 times 209. 18 point. I didn't type that right. It's 209 times 6.5. 1358.5. Let's write that over here. I'm not gonna. 0.5 minus 6.5 D plus 2D equals 836.5. And I was just realizing I probably should have solved for eliminated D, and that would get you straight to S, but we'll just continue working this. So we have the 1358.5, and then let's do minus 836.5, 522. So we just subtracted that 522. This will be minus 4.5 D equals 0. 4.5 D equals 522. Divide by 4.5. You get D equals 116. So D equals 116 drinks. 209 minus 116 will be 93 salads. Okay, let's clear that all out. Go to our next problem. If you had that calculator that you can type to solve the equations, you could also have used that as well. Number 20, we have Alma bought a laptop computer at a store that gave a 20% discount off its original price. The total amount she paid to the cashier was P dollars, including an 8% sales tax on the discounted price. So the total amount she paid to the cashier was P dollars. We have some original price. Maybe I'll call it Q, since I don't like using the variable O, because that looks like a 0. So I'll just use Q. Store gave a 20% discount. So if you have a 20% discount, what you're really doing is 1 minus 0.2, which is 0.8. That's how you'd find out how much the price is after the discount. And then we have an 8% sales tax, so that will be added. So you'll have 1 plus 0.08 to get the price of the tax. So you'll be multiplying by 1.08, you know, percent increase and decrease, 1 plus a number or 1 minus a number, depending on if it's increase or decrease to get to the final value. If you just multiply by 0.2, that will give the amount of the discount. Or if you multiply by 0.08, that will give the amount of the tax, but including the 1 times the original number gets you back to the original value, and that's why you want to include the 1, so you're including the original price. And we're going to be solving for our original price, so we're going to be dividing by the other two numbers. So 0.8, 1.08. That means D is our answer. That one gives you the original price of the computer. Let's go to number 21. Maybe I'll bring it down just a little so we can get that last number in there. Good. Back to draw. We have dreams recalled during 1 week. The data in the table above were produced by a sleep researcher studying the number of dreams people recall when asked to record their dreams for 1 week. Group X consisted of 100 people who observed early bedtimes, and Group Y consisted of 100 people who observed later bedtimes. These are early people. We have our late people. If a person is chosen at random from those who recalled at least one dream, what is the probability that the person belonged to group Y? So just looking at least one dream, we're going to be taking these two numbers together and dividing by the total number of people who experienced at least one dream. So we have 11 plus 68 over 39 plus 125 will be 79 over 164 BC. (22) and 23 refer to the following information. Okay. Table above lists the state annual budget in thousands of dollars for each of 6 different state programs in Kansas from 2007 to 2010. Which of the following best approximates the average rate of change in the annual budget for agriculture and natural resources? So that's this group. From 2008 to 2010. The average rate of change from 2008 to 2010. And we have, again, these are in thousands of dollars, but it looks like that's not a problem because we have all these answers are in the same. They're all in the millions, which is thousands of thousands. So our total rate of change will be 488,000. I'll just leave off the zeros. Minus 358, and that's over 2 years. So again, these are thousands of thousands. I'm leaving off the millions. All these answers are in millions. We'll just ignore the millions. And if we subtract that, 48 minus 35 will be 13. So we have 130 divided by 2 is 65. Our answer is 65 million per year is our average rate of change between 2008 and 2010. Let's clear that out. Number 23, of the following, which program's ratio of its 2007 budget to its 2010 budget is closest to the human resources ratio of its 2007 budget to its 2010 budget? So human resources and 2007, 2010. So if we ignore all these zeros again, 4.05 to 5.91, please don't use all 9 numbers. It's not necessary, you know, sig figs. Let's save some time, get the right answer faster, and pull back up my calculator. I need the mouse. 4.05 divided by 5.91 will be 0.685. Let's write that out. 0.685, which is about 2/3, 4:6 ratio if we're just eyeballing it. So which one looks like it has like a 2-to-3 ratio? Looks like education does 2-to-3 ratio. I mean, I just said 2-to-3 and that has 2-to-3. This looks like a 4-to-5 if we're just approximating highways. 1.4 to 1.7 is probably not 2-to-3. Public safety looks like it's, oh, we can go through all of them. So 373 divided by 488, the first one. Agriculture gives a 0.76 ratio. It's a little off, not terribly off, but probably not the right answer. Education, 2.16 divided by 3.00, I'll just say 3.72. Let's go get that. 0.72, getting closer. Highways and transportation, we got 1.46 divided by 1.77. We got 0.82, that's like even worse. Public safety, we got 263 divided by 464. 0.566. 0.56. So it looks like our education is our winner, which I did say 2-to-3. Yeah. And let's go clear that out and go to our next problem. Which of the following is an equation of a circle in xy plane with a center of 0, 4? So if you remember equation of a circle, x minus our x center squared, quantity squared, plus y minus our y center squared. So that already eliminates these two. X minus 0 squared is just x squared. And a radius with endpoint 4/3, 5. So it looks like you're going to have to do some math here. We have our center at 0, 4. And a radius at 4/3, 5. We're going to have to use our Pythagorean theorem to find our radius. So we have our radius will be square root of 5 minus 4 squared, because that's the distance of that leg of the triangle, plus, well, we have this, that was the height, and then 4/3 minus 0, or x values, the difference, squared. will be square root of 1 squared, which is 1, plus 4/3 squared will be 16 over 9. And if we make that a fraction, 9 over 9 plus 16 over 9, the square root of 25 over 9 is our radius. And in the equation of the circle, we want radius squared. So if we square that, that just gets rid of the square root, and our r squared is 25 over 9. If you did simplify it, you'd get 5 over 3. Then you'd have to square it again to get back to 25 over 9 is our r squared value. We have number 5, 25. Equation above expresses the approximate height h in meters of a ball t seconds after it is launched vertically upward from the ground with an initial velocity of 25 meters per second. After approximately how many seconds will the ball hit the ground? So the ball will hit the ground when it has a height h of 0, so we'll just set this equation equal to 0. These have both a t in it, so we can take out a t. We have t equals 0, which we're not really interested in because at the initial, when you launch it, it's at 0. And then we also have negative 4.9t plus 25 equals 0. Negative 4.9t equals negative 25. Divide by negative 4.9, divided by negative 4.9. Bring out our calculator again. We have 25 divided by 4.9 should be about 5. 5.1 is about 5. T equals 5.1 is 5. Let's clear that out. 26. Katerina is a botanist studying the production of pears by 2 types of pear trees. She noticed that the type A tree produced 20% more pears than the type B trees did based on Katerina's observation. If the type A trees produced 144 pears, how many pears did the type B trees produce? So we have A is a 20% more than the B. So that's 1 plus 0.2. 20% as a decimal will be 0.2 B. So A equals 1.2 B. And we're told that A produced 144. If we divide by 1.2, bring back up our calculator. 144 divided by 1.2 will be 120 even. So we have B equals 120, which is actually the letter B also. Okay. Number 27. Square field measures 10 by 10 meters. 10 students each mark off randomly selected regions of the field. Each region is square and has sides of length 1 meter and no 2 regions overlap. The students count the earthworms contained in the soil to a depth of 5 centimeters below the ground surface in each region. The results are shown in the table below. Which of the following is a reasonable approximation of the number of earthworms to a depth of 10 centimeters beneath the ground surface in the entire field? So it says in the entire field. How big is our field? It's 10 by 10, which means that it has an area of 100 square meters. In each region, each little territory is a 1 by 1. So in order to get like from one region to the entire region, you would have to multiply it by 100. Just eyeballing it, if you really wanted to go add all these numbers together and divide by that, you could do that, but all our answers are multiples of 150, and so it looks like this is an average of 150 in each region. 150 in 1 square meter is how many, well, in the entire 100 square meter field, you would multiply by 100, means you add your 2 zeros, and we're at 15,000 earthworms in the field. Number 28, moving along. If the system of inequalities is graphed in the xy plane above which quadrant contains no solution to the system. It's an and, so that means it has to be, and means it has to be both of the equations. So in one equation we have y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1 will be here, have a positive slope, and it will be shaded above. And I don't have a second color, but if I did, that would be nice, but we'll just go with it. And the second one is 1/2 x minus 1. And it has a slope of 1/2, so kind of like that. And that should have been dotted because it's just greater than, but it's kind of hard to draw dotted lines, and it's not important in this problem, and it's still greater than. So that will be, again, this region. So we have this is double shaded, this is double shaded, all this is double shaded. So we got almost all of this quadrant 2, some of quadrant 1, some of quadrant 3, and quadrant 4 will not be double shaded. So that's where we don't have any solutions, because it has to be and, it has to solve both. If it was an or, we would have answers in all 4 quadrants, but it's an and, so we don't have answers in all 4 quadrants. Number 29. For a polynomial p of x, the value of p of 3 is -2. Which of the following must be true about p of x? So that means when x is 3, or y is -2, or p. So well, this is not 0, so nothing should be a factor. None of these should be factors. We don't know anything about factors. That means only our one answer left is D. The remainder when p of x is divided by x minus 3 is -2. And yeah, that's something, maybe you remember that. If the function, well, the factor of this is x minus 3. Not that it's a factor, but just, if you divide it by x minus 3, the remainder will be -2 because that's what the function is. And yeah. Go back up to 30. 30 looks nice. Which of the following is an equivalent form of the equation of the graph shown in the xy plane above, from which the coordinates of the vertex A can be identified? The coordinates of the vertex A. The vertex A is at 1, -15 or -16. So that will be D, like x minus 1 minus 16. Yeah, if you factored this, it would be like x minus 5, x plus 3, But that won't give the coordinates of the vertex of A. These will give the roots of A. Well, wait, this one. This will give the roots of A. This one gives the vertex. And these two equations are equivalent, that first one and the last one, but only this one gives the vertex of A. And that's why this would be our answer. (31). So fill in the blank. Want to make sure you get to a couple of these at least. These are, first couple of these are easy. Wyatt can husk at least 12 dozen ears of corn per hour and at most 18 dozen ears of corn per hour. That'd be an inequality. 12 is less than or equal to his husking ability. It's less than or equal to 18 ears of corn per hour. What is the possible amount of time in hours that it could take Wyatt to husk 72 ears of corn? At least 12 means he can husk 12. So you could divide it by 12 and get 6. 72 divided by 18, I think, is 4. Yeah. So any number between 4 and, I left off a variable. Any number between 4 and 6 will be the number of hours it takes him to husk. So you could put 4, you could put 5, or you could put 6. Or you could put probably anything in between those 4, 5, and 6 as well. But let's not make it complicated. (32). The posted weight limit for a covered wooden bridge in Pennsylvania is 6,000 pounds. A delivery truck that is carrying X identical boxes, each weighing 14 pounds, will pass over the bridge. It has to be less than 16,000 pounds. X identical boxes, each weighing 14 pounds, will pass over the bridge. If the combined weight of the empty truck and its driver is 4,500 pounds, what is the maximum possible value for X? That will keep the combined weight of the truck driver, and boxes below the bridge's posted weight. So we're going to subtract 4,500. Get 14x is less than or equal to 1,500. Divide by 14, divide by 14. And we're going to have to round down because we can't exceed the limit. Pull back up our calculator. I probably should just leave it on the bottom, minimize it, so I don't have to keep pulling it up. 1,500 divided by 14 will be 107. This would round down any way, but we have to round down. Yeah, minimize that. So X is 107. And that will be our only answer because the maximum possible value for X, we need a whole number of boxes. And let's go to number 33. Don't need to move that. Number of portable media players sold worldwide each year from 2006 to 2011. According to the line graph above, the number of portable media players sold in 2008 is what fraction of the number sold in 2011? So in 2008, 100 were sold, 100 million, but we're going to be dividing, so it's not important. We have 160 million. 10 over 16 will be 5 over 8. 5 over 8 or 0.625. If you did it in the calculator, each one is acceptable. You could have 0.625 is also acceptable. 5 divided by 8 or 0.625. Number 34, local television station sells time slots for programs in 30-minute intervals. If the station operates for 24 hours per day, every day of the week, what is the total number of 30-minute time slots the station can sell for Tuesday and Wednesday? So that's, we're looking at 2 days. We have 1 day, it's 24 hours, days canceled out. In each hour, we have 2 30-minute time slots. So we're just using the 2. We're not using the 30. So we have 2 times 24 times 2. 48 times 2 is 96. We have 96 time slots. You can also put that on the calculator if you want to. And let's go to our next problem. Only 4 more, right? 4 more? Yep. We got that cylinder. Cylinder. Dairy farmer uses a storage silo that is in the shape of a right circular cylinder. The volume of the cylinder is 72 pi cubic yards. Everything's in yards, we're good. What is the diameter of the base of the cylinder in yards? In case you don't remember this, we can go back up to our formula sheet. Did I pass it up? No, I didn't pass it up. Okay, it's a long way back. Okay, there's our cylinder, pi r squared h, and I have to go all the way back now. So in case you forgot that, it's pi r squared h. You could also think about it, what's the area of a circle? Hopefully you remember it's pi r squared. It's just a height straight up, so that shape is being straight up, so we just multiply it by h. Here we have pi's cancel out. Our height is 8. So 72 divided by 8 is 9. R squared equals 9. R equals 3, and they want the diameter. Just hopefully you don't miss that. So multiply it by 2, and our diameter is 6 yards. Number 36. For what value of x is the function h above undefined? You could, one way is type this in the calculator and see where it blows up on the graph. If you graph it, that would be that'd be one way to do it. I'm gonna go through it algebraically. That'd be if you have the graphing calculator. We could do some like use substitution. Looks like, because we got the x minus 5, 1 over u squared plus 4u plus 4 is our function. And it blows up where the bottom is 0. So that means u squared plus 4u plus 4 cannot equal 0. U plus 2 squared cannot equal 0. So u plus 2 cannot equal 0. That means u cannot equal -2. -2 can't be an answer, and hopefully you realize that. X minus 5 equals -2. Add 5, x, well, really cannot equal 3. Is where it's undefined. If you graphed that, there should be like, the graph should blow up at 3, like there should be a straight line. And yeah, the graph would, I'm not going to graph it. The graph would have some horizontal or vertical asymptote at 3. And otherwise it would probably look something like I think it would look something like that, where it just blows up at 3. Yeah. And let's go clear that out. And we're gonna go to number 37. Jessica opened a bank account that earns 2% interest compounded annually. Her initial deposit was $100, and she uses the expression 100 times x to the t power to find the value of the account after t years. What is the value of x? So in order to do that, 2% as a decimal is 0.02. Again, we need to add 1 to that. 1.02 is the number you need to put in the equation, because the 1 accounts for the original amount and the 2% gives your interest. Last one, Jessica's friend Tyshawn found an account that earns 2.5% interest compounded annually. Tyshawn made an initial deposit of $100, just like Jessica. At the same time, Jessica made her deposit of $100 into her account. After 10 years, how much more money will Tyshawn's initial deposit have earned than Jessica's initial deposit? Round your answer to the nearest cent and ignore the dollar sign. So, yeah, this calculator is probably not the best for this one. This might be like the only problem I can't use this basic calculator on. 100, 1.025 for Tyshawn to the 10, minus 100, 1.02. Be also, they're both 10 years. Maybe I'll try to like pull up a different calculator. Let's use, hopefully this first one works, Desmos. I think I've heard of that before. So if we do 1.100, 0.025 raised to the 10, where's our caret button? Minus 100, 1.02, caret 10. We have that as 6.11 if we round. So going back, round to the nearest cent. It doesn't say to round down or anything. So this will be 6.11 will be that answer. And since I got the calculator up, let's go just show you what that other graph looked like. Let me rewrite this equation so that way it's easier for me to copy. X minus 5 squared plus 4, x minus 5 plus 4. So now that we got that equation written down, let's go back and see what it looks like. 1 divided by x minus 5 squared plus 4x minus 5, that's not a 5, plus 4. So remember how I was talking about what the graph looked like? The graph blows up at 3. And if you try to do the value like at x equals 3, it should be get you like undefined or error. And that was that last problem I was talking about. I didn't want to graph it wrong, so it just goes up and then it stays on the same side and then goes back down to 0. And that was this last problem I was talking about. X cannot equal 3. So we're done. Thank you for joining me today, and hope your studying goes well. And if you need help, you can try to use my SAT group lessons. And I hope to hear from you soon.